Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the lunch table. I am your host, Ben Houselog, aka Ben Like Sports, aka we need to change the NFL overtime rules. And we had a lot go down on Tuesday as I record this at 10:30 p.m. Yes, the election's happening. We're not going to talk about it. Okay, this is a sports podcast. This is just like the lunch table. I don't think I've ever pulled up to the lunch table and been like, so fellas, how about politics? No. We're going to talk about the trade deadline. We're going to recap Monday Night Football. And we are going to talk about the star-studded, absolute banger of a Thursday Night Football matchup that we have coming in front of us. So all that is coming up now on the lunch table. Shannon Sharpe, take it away.
Yams, collard greens, mac and cheese.
Monday Night Football. You had the Bucs versus the Chiefs. And if you listened to the last episode, I said I believe Baker Mayfield 100%. And I thought the Bucs were going to win that game. And honestly, they had all the reason to win that game. Chiefs went up 7 points. Bucs needed to go the entire length of the field and score a touchdown, and they did so. But they did the cardinal sin of what you're supposed to do or what you're not supposed to do when you are trailing in a game and you somehow get a touchdown. They did not go for two. I thought I said this earlier. When the Patriots had the last second, no time on the clock touchdown to tie or beat the Titans, they kicked the PAT. They went to overtime. They lost. The Buccaneers elected not to go for two when they had all the momentum. They went into overtime. Patrick Mahomes got the ball, and the Buccaneers lost. He drove it all the way down the field and won the game. Why do we keep sitting around? You would think they learned about overtime against the Falcons, right? Obviously, different scenario. But one thing I will say, Patrick Mahomes is getting scarier and scarier week by week. This hasn't been a Chiefs team that's dominating everybody. This is a Chiefs team that has a good defense and finds a way to win. And now that Patrick Mahomes is starting to cook, Kareem Hunt is starting to cook, Travis Kelce is starting to cook, DeAndre Hopkins is balling. It's really just who's going to come in second in the AFC right now. That's what it looks like. So the Bucs had him on the ropes, let him off easy, and they went for two. And another thing, they need to change the NFL overtime rules. Number one, yes, I get it. Oh, they have defense. They can stop the ball. Look, that's all fine and dandy. But it changes when it gets to the playoffs. Why do we have a different set of overtime rules in the playoffs and in the regular season? And don't give me the player safety BS, because the NFL is always adding Friday games, Thursday games, an extra game. I understand it's a little bit different, but you should let each team get an equal opportunity. Yes, the Buccaneers defense could have stopped the Chiefs. Okay. I'm glad that we all have came to that realization that yes, a defense could have done it, but they didn't. And now the Buccaneers, who desperately needed this game because they were 4-4, if they go to 5-4, they have a lot better shot at making the playoffs or even winning the division if the Falcons drop a couple. But now they're 4-5. They're an extra game back. It's not looking good for the Buccaneers. All I want to see is consistency. I understand player safety. All I want to see is just a little bit of consistency. Can we please get the same rules throughout? Because what you are basically saying is that it doesn't matter as much in the regular season. And I agree to some extent. But at what point are teams just going to be like, okay, we're in overtime, we can afford to lose this one? They probably won't, but who knows? Who knows how this can change? A coin toss should not determine overtime. I understand everyone's going to bring up, I think it's the 2017 AFC Championship when it happened to Mahomes and the Chiefs. I thought it should change then. It should always be you go shot for shot, blow for blow, pause, and the winner comes out on top, just like college. Player safety, okay, start at the 40-yard line going in. 2-point conversions, whatever. But the Buccaneers, you need to go for two. If you're in a David versus Goliath situation, if you're the underdog, go for two. Like Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl, you do not leave this game up to chance. You do not want to beat them in another quarter. No, you win the game now or you lose the game now. Fortune favors the brave. And the Buccaneers were not brave whatsoever. Baker Mayfield balled out. Cade Otton balled out, but it wasn't enough. So they have to change it. Anywho, we also had the trade deadline occur today. And honestly, to be fair, it was kind of a weak trade deadline. There was not any big-time major star player traded. No one really thought there was going to be. We have a lot of a discrepancy in the NFL. I'm going to burp, so I'm going to remove myself from the mic. Thank you for allowing me the courtesy of really good teams and really bad teams. A lot of the NFL, almost a quarter of it, I think, is 2-6 or 2-7. That's not good. So for that reason, I thought there was going to be a lot of sellers and a lot of buyers. There wasn't a lot of either. So some highlights. I'm only going to go over 3. Okay, I'll go over 4. You guys convinced me. I folded under zero pressure. First, obviously, Marshawn Lattimore going to the Commanders. The Commanders have been a weak secondary, not as weak as years past, because Dan Quinn is a very smart defensive guy. Getting Lattimore is huge because he now gets them before they play A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. That is absolutely huge for the division, for wild card. Who knows what can go down? Obviously, division, if you don't win the division, you're on the wild card. But I'm talking about seeding, right? And obviously, they're 7-2, right? Probably not going to happen, but you never, ever know. They win a lot of close games. Marshawn Lattimore, everyone says he's washed. He's not washed. Someone sent me his stats. He doesn't have many stats. Do you know why he doesn't have many stats? Because people don't target him with the ball. Why do they not target him with the ball? Because he's locking people up. I do feel bad for Mike Evans, though, because that is one of the greatest beefs in NFL history. Just gone. Just gone. It's a shame, honestly. The competitiveness, it's gone. It's like when Peter Griffin and the Chicken split up. It's like Tom and Jerry, right? Tom and Jerry at the end, they shook hands and they loved each other. I genuinely feel like there's a little bit of that love. Maybe not love, but respect between Lattimore and Evans. We won't be able to see it 2 times a year. Kind of sad about it. In other news, the Cowboys traded a 4th-round draft pick to get Mingo from the Panthers, who hasn't been playing well at all. Jerry Jones said he was going to shake it up a little bit. Shake it up he did. Not in the way that you want to if you're a Cowboys fan. Number one, Dak is now placed on the IR. Big, big blow to the Cowboys. Cooper Rush is a very capable backup, but now CeeDee Lamb is banged up. Why? You bring Mingo in, of course. But you have no run game. You don't really have a pass game or as good of a pass game without Dak Prescott. I know some people are going to say that Cooper Rush is better. You're lying. You need to get tested for amphetamines if you think that way. He's not. Just a puzzling trade. You needed to shake something up, and honestly, you trade a draft pick, and a 4th-round draft pick is actually pretty valuable nowadays, and you get a guy who really hasn't been playing that well. Hopefully he can find his resurgence in Dallas. I'm never going to be a guy that's going to punch down a player, say, I hope he doesn't do well. So I hope Jonathan Mingo comes out, proves the whole NFL world wrong, and balls out. But it is puzzling. Very puzzling. Next, the Steelers made a couple moves. First, the Packers, my beloved Green Bay Packers. I wanted to get Greg Newsome, another DB. Did not happen. Instead, we traded Preston Smith to the Steelers for a 7th-round draft pick. And honestly, yes, Preston Smith for a 7th-round draft pick is a steal. However, the last 2 years of his contract were brutal. The Packers, have Lucas Van Ness, Edgerrin Cooper, who played a little bit of edge in college. I don't know how they're going to do it, but he is a dog. You invest into the youth. That's what I think they're doing. They get money off the books. It makes sense. But it sucks to see him go. He was a guy who carried the G, and if you are not familiar, carrying the G is just being a good Packer, a great guy, a great teammate, never complaining. That was Preston Smith. So Preston Smith, I thank you for all you have done for Green Bay. I wish you nothing but the best for the Steelers. Now the Steelers have TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Preston Smith, and they also got Mike Williams from the Jets. Here's the thing. Mike Williams, I think, still has some juice left. He is a good receiver to complement George Pickens. Their red zone offense is going to be superb. Russell Wilson, smart guy with the ball. Sure, he makes some throws that are iffy. That's mechanics based. He doesn't have a lot of mental errors where you throw something and you're like, huh. Just like Jordan Love did against the Lions. I'm still dumbfounded about that. I have to rant a little bit to make myself feel better about the Packers. I'm sorry. But I like this trade for the Steelers. Number one, the AFC North is going to be a dogfight. Also, in about a month, the AFC North will have HBO Hard Knocks in season, will be cinema. The Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals. We get to see Jameis Winston on Hard Knocks. That's going to be a treat. An absolute treat to watch. But now you have two jump ball threats. Probably, right now, the best jump ball threat in the league in George Pickens. I will stand by that. And a guy who has shown it. Now, yes, brutal ACL tear. He's getting up there in age. Mike Williams has still shown some things. Change of scenery, who knows what he's going to do. Steelers didn't give up a lot, but they got a lot of upside back, especially when they're already leading their division. That is huge. I like it. Steelers, honestly, may be the greatest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC right now. I think it's the Ravens, but I could see an argument for the Steelers. Moving on. This isn't going to be a long pod, right? Like I said, and I'll say it again, I'm not going to be out here yapping just to yap to hit a time mark. I'm short, I'm sweet, I'm concise. That's what it's about here. The lunch table. Sometimes we had to go to silent lunch, right? The lunch monitor would come over. I don't know if you guys had lunch monitors. I know I did because I was a very, very loud kid. As you can tell, they'd break it up. Be like, okay, boys, you can't talk. We'd have to have silent lunch because we would start screaming about Kevin Durant versus LeBron. About Kevin Durant versus Carmelo Anthony being good scorers. I'm going on a tangent here. That's what it would be like. We would pull up like Stephen A. and Skip Bayless and talk about it all lunch. Thursday Night Football. You have the Ravens versus the Bengals. The Ravens are at home. The last time these teams played, it was absolute cinema. Lamar versus Joe Burrow. Straight cinema. Dogfight. Straight missiles going down the field. Jamar Chase would go all the way down the field. One play, 75-yard touchdown. Lamar would march him right back down the field. Shake off a couple pass rushers. And the Ravens won in overtime because the Bengals, honestly, got scared. The Bengals didn't play to win. They played cautious, and that came back to bite them. But now the Bengals are in go mode. In the AFC, there's a door opening. A little creak. You heard the door open. And the Bengals, in years past, when it hit November, go time. They just blew out the Raiders, which obviously it's the Raiders, but what happens if you can blow out good teams? It's better than hanging with good teams. They blew them out. They showed what they needed to. Bengals are a top offense in football. Their defense is suspect. The Ravens' offense is balling. Zay Flowers, they now have Deontay Johnson. Rashad Bateman. Obviously, Lamar and Derrick Henry. Lamar is probably the favorite. Well, he is the favorite to win MVP, but he's probably going to win it. We saw what happened the last time that they played. This is where we see, can Zach Taylor learn from his mistakes? Because I guarantee you, Baltimore is going to be jumping. The Ravens stole one in Cincy. That was the one that Cincy needed to win. And now you're going against arguably the hottest team in football. I understand the Chiefs. I understand the Detroit Lions. The Ravens are dogging everybody. Just ran through a Broncos defense that everyone was pretty excited to see. A Broncos defense that a lot of people thought might stop the Ravens. And they didn't even use Deontay Johnson. But now they have Deontay Johnson. He's got another week in the playbook. And the Bengals are in go mode. Like I said, I think the Bengals win this game. And here's why. I have no analytical backing. I don't even know why I said here's why. You guys know. I usually pick based off of my gut. However, sometimes my gut serves me well. Other times it doesn't, but I hope that this is the time it serves me well. I did eat chicken wings from the gas station, and I do feel like crap. However, we're a gritty podcast. We fight through. My gut is iffy. But I don't think the Ravens can hold. Jamar Chase. I'm not sure about T. Higgins' availability. Mike Gesicki got it going. Eric All tore his ACL. I feel horrible for him. He was having a great season at Iowa, tore his ACL. It's the same exact knee. That doesn't bode well for the future. We are praying for Eric All. His mental, his body, all of it. This is a hungry Bengals team with a quarterback who has shown that when the clutch time rises, he does better. This Bengals team is kind of the opposite of the Commanders team. A team that loses a bunch of close games. Zach Moss is out for the year, but they now have Khalil Herbert. Also a trade deadline thing I could have tossed in there, but they got him 2 days. However, at the running back position, 2 days to learn the playbook is plenty. Especially in an offense like Cincy. Because it's really like, Jamar's down there somewhere. I'm just going to chuck it up. I take back my pick. I have the Ravens. I don't think I will choose against the Ravens for the rest of the year. I'm just going to be transparent. Lamar has 20 touchdowns, 2 picks. That's Aaron Rodgers stuff. He's running the ball well. He's throwing the ball exceptionally well. Derrick Henry is probably the offensive player of the year. The Ravens' offensive line is getting better and better each week. The first 2 weeks, they looked suspect, but they have a good center in Tyler Linderbaum who really anchors that O-line. If you have good centers, you usually play good football. Think of the Packers 2019, 2020, Corey Linsley. Think of the Chiefs, Creed Humphrey. The Ravens, Tyler Linderbaum. The captain of that O-line, they're holding it together well. And you have Hill out of the backfield catching passes. You have 3 tight ends who can go make a play with Likely, Andrews, and Kolar. It's an absolute matchup nightmare if you're the Bengals. They haven't shown me anything that I believe that they can beat the Ravens. Obviously, they beat the Raiders, but let's be real. If the Ravens and the Raiders played again right now, it would be a 50-piece. With all due respect. For that reason, I am going to go with the Ravens. And I will now leave you guys with a story time, because a lot of you guys said that you did want me to talk more about my college football experience. And while it was short-lived, my freshman year was COVID, so we didn't have a season. So we basically had boot camp. And I will tell you guys about my first ever college football practice. I'm running out to college football, right? I'm hype. I'm like, no way, I'm here. College football, Division II, but still, it's college football, right? We get on the line. I'm like, okay, we're going to do some warm-ups, dynamic stretches. Let's get after it. The offensive coordinator looks at us, and he goes, all right, in a plank. Immediately, a bell goes off in my head like, you said plank? He said, yeah, plank. A third of you guys plank, a third of you guys run, and a third of you guys do push-ups. I said, pardon me? I said, pardon me? Did you say running, push-ups, and plank? I don't see a single NFL play. Not NFL, just college in general. Where would I have to plank? What does this possibly do me? Because we're doing off-season workouts. We're lifting in the weight room. Why do I have to run? Why do I have to plank? But he said, hey, get down. He put the whistle in his mouth. He said, minute planks. I'm like, all right, bet. I just got here. It's time to show how tough I am. About 2 minutes go by. Blows a whistle. It was 2-minute planks. He said it was a minute, but he would count slow. He'd do the 10. 9. I'd be in my head like, that is not a second, coach. That was actually 2. Coach, I don't know if you know this, but you're not counting well. I can help you count. And we're running. We're doing all this. I'm looking at all the other freshmen in my class. I'm like, this is college football, huh? All the seniors, the juniors, they're like, this sucks. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I got to go back and zoom into a college class that I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm not a good student. We're not getting quizzed on 1990s NBA role players. We're not getting quizzed on 2000s NFL tight ends. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I'm just scraping by. I'm here to play football, not play school. And he says, hey, the gates are open if anyone wants to leave. Everyone else is looking away from the gate. Me? I turn my head. I look directly at the gate. I'm like, you know what? Leaving would not sound bad right now. I can go make TikToks. Have a nice cup of warm hot chocolate. Because it was also raining in like 30 degrees. That's what it was. So we kept going. and going. And we kept doing that all of the COVID year. And by the end of the year, I promise you, we had 8 guys from a 60-player class remaining. 52 guys quit or transferred out after my freshman year. I wanted to quit. I was on the phone with my mom after that practice. I'm like, Mom, I understand working hard. I'm a receiver. I ain't ran a single route yet. I'm 2 practices in. Not a single route has been run. I'm basically doing CrossFit. I'm a CrossFit football player. I didn't sign up for this. When they recruited me, they said, hey, you're going to play the H, the X, the Z. I'm like, okay, that's the alphabet. I know some of those letters. I'll play that. It didn't happen. We did boot camp for a whole entire year. I thugged it out, though. Didn't miss a single practice. Did I wreck my spine and never play football again? Perchance. That may have happened. But it did teach me hard work. And it did teach me that I wish I went through that gate. I cannot lie. I wish I went through that gate. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day or night whenever you are listening to this. I know it's a shorter episode. Like I said, I'm not going to talk for no reason. One more thing. Okay, I wasn't going to harp on it. Whether you voted, didn't vote, who you voted for, it does not matter to me. Okay, we are a show about positivity and loving everybody. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be okay. Election time, it can get very, very anxious. A lot of anxiety goes throughout people. It's going to be fine. Take a deep breath. You guys woke up today. And it's going to be fine. And I hope that this Thursday night football game is fine as well. Because I did not just sit through 17 million political commercials for the first football game without a political commercial to be mid. If that happens, I will freak out. I will have a rant. And you guys know how I love my rants. Have a great day or night whenever you are listening to this. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. We are having very good numbers. I don't have them in front of me because I really don't look at the numbers. I kind of focus on the content. It is what it is. God bless. Jesus loves you. Peace.